Just wanted to shoot a quick video here and talk a little bit about the inventory, what's going on with the market. If you've been looking for a home either with me or through the internet, you know that the inventory is well down. But there's a lot of talk out there about the shadow inventory and what's going on with that. What I mean by shadow inventory is people are saying that the banks are holding on to a bunch of foreclosed homes and they're going to flood the market with them, and it's just simply not true. And I've got some statistics to go over here to try to explain this all to you and make a little clearer about what's going on. So let's just take a look here. So shadow inventory is homes that are delinquent and behind on their payments that have yet to hit the market. Shadow inventory peaked at 2.1 million homes in 2010. Shadow inventory was down 28% as of April 2012, so it's been consistently coming down. This is a foreclosure backlog, which is a bunch of people that haven't been making payments on their houses. It is not a bunch of homes being held on by the banks that they're just waiting to dump onto the market. They have not foreclosed on these homes yet. Rest assured, because you would know, because the banks would have to be paying the taxes on the homes and keeping the yards up and keeping the homes up. If they had all these homes, it would cost them a fortune to take care of all of them. So it's simply not happening. Now, when you look at the foreclosure backlog, foreclosures peaked at 2.1 million in 2010. And as of the end of the first quarter for 2012, they were down 8.5%. So that's not a massive production, but it's a very big reduction. And 90-day delinquencies are down 1 million from the peak in 2009. So what we can say here is that the foreclosure backlog has come down, and it's not that anyone is holding anything off the market. What's happening is the normal foreclosure timelines are taking place. And as soon as the property is becoming bank-owned, the banks are turning around and putting them right out onto the market. Here's an article from the Wall Street Journal about shadow inventory not being as scary as people think. There are several reasons why the shadow inventory isn't as scary as it sounds. It's concentrated in a handful of markets. If it isn't inherently a national phenomenon, it is being offset by improved demand, particularly from investors. And you know this is true if you've been reading my newsletter or just looking at things online. Investors have taken up 39% of the homes sold so far this year. I believe it was either 39 or 41% last year. In a normal market, say pre-2006, 16% of homes were sold to cash buyers, investors. So you can see that's just a huge jump. And here's some more on that Wall Street article. Just like the Wizard of Oz, shadow inventory is not very intimidating once you pull back the curtain, said housing analyst Ivy Zellman. That isn't to dismiss the magnitude of the problem and headwinds it will continue to pose for housing recovery, she wrote. The bathtub is almost full, but the water has stopped rising, and we are concerned with how fast it drains. The way I read that of what she is saying there is we have a certain amount of inventory on the market, and the shadow inventory is not going to come in and cause a flood. What's happening is we're losing inventory due to sales. We're losing inventory due to people moving into homes, investors buying homes with cash. And as that inventory comes down, shadow inventory or foreclosures come in, and we're really stabilizing the amount of inventory we have in the market today. So what is really happening with our market? There are three trends colliding. The first one is interest rates over time. We've seen 30-year interest rates come down to the lowest they've been in 40 years. In the last 40 years, we've never seen housing be this affordable. The second trend is home affordability. For the first time since 1973, when you look at the far right side of this graph, 2008, 2009, 2010, 2011, and 2012 will be no different. Buying a home is less expensive than renting a home. That's for the first time since 1973. And the affordability of housing is overwhelming. Take a look at this next graphic. Let's just do a comparison between 1981 and 2011. In 1981, the average home was a cost of $82,500. In 2011, the average cost of a home is $242,300. The interest rates in 1981 were 16.63% compared to, I'm taking 4%, but as you know, they've been anywhere from 4 to 3.5 to 3.75 for a while now. And of course, I'm talking about 30-year fixed interest rates there. Adjusted for inflation today, it gets even more dramatic. $1,147 in 1981 is equal to $2,838 today. Even more dramatic, the asset is worth 19% more today, but yet it costs 61.5% less than 1981. These numbers are driving people to buy. What's the next trend? New home construction is non-existent right now. From 1968 to 2008, at least 1 million new homes were constructed every year. The lowest point was in 1982 when 1,000,005 homes were built. But it was caught up for the next year when 1,500,000 homes were built, and the highest point of new construction was 2,100,000 homes built in 1973. So when you look at what was going on, the average was 1,531,000 homes built per year for 40 years. Now let's take a look at today from 2009 to 2012. 2009 we built 794. 2010 we went down to 651. 2011 we went down to 585,000. 2012, the projected new homes built will be 559,400. This could be the lowest year for new house construction in over 44 years. So this, as you can see, presents another issue for our inventory. The average for the past 4 years has been 647,600. And now compare that to how much we need. Projected new households from 2010 to 2020 will be between 1.2 million and 1.8 million new houses will be required to meet demand each year. Every year. This is a projection by the Harvard Housing Center. When we look at projected new houses, let's take a look at the low number. Let's take the low number of 1.2 million houses for new households each year. And we're building 559,000. That means we have a 641,000 new home shortfall per year. This is causing this inventory shrinkage that we're seeing today. So the trends, housing affordability is at an all-time high, period. Easing of loan restrictions and low interest rates are pushing demand up. Inventory restrictions are driving prices up. The importance of obtaining listings is as high as it has been since the start of the mortgage crisis. So here's the reality. Shadow inventory was a catch-all term used to describe anything that was affecting prices that could not yet be quantified in the market. It was a good scare tactic, or you could call it a marketing term. It's been steadily decreasing since late 2010, and if it were the driving force, prices would continue to drop. Instead, we are seeing a price increase, or at least a stabilization in our market. I hope this little video has answered a lot of your questions, and hopefully it explains the market in more detail. That's my goal here. And if you do have a situation where your home is underwater, you're behind on your payments, or if that doesn't apply to you, maybe you know somebody who is, since 1 in 6 homes right now are underwater, please give them my information or just send them my website. There's a link to it below. I guarantee you they will thank you, because that website has more information on it that in 45 minutes to an hour they will know more about the market and short sales and how to handle things and with distressed properties and loan mods and everything else. They'll know more than most of the so-called experts are going to call them and offer them help. Another thing is, I never charge a dime. If somebody's in that situation, I'm happy to help them. I have all the paperwork they need to submit for a loan modification, and there's the Debt Relief Act does end December 31st in 2012. Now, I don't know. They may extend it, but they haven't yet. And what that means is, right now, if you do a short sale, there is no charge. Don't get 1099 or anything. And I haven't heard much about them talking about renewing it or not renewing it. They just haven't been talking about it. So I think they're waiting to see what the market's like and how the economy is. But I think we all know that we're still a ways from being out of this. So again, I appreciate you taking the time to watch this video. I hope it helped out. And please never hesitate to call or email me with any questions. Thanks.